For the second time in 2 weeks, Melee was blessed with an offline major. Fittingly, after Genesis 8, the Melee scene came together at another classic event, Pound, a series with roots going back over 15 years. This year's edition, the 11th time Melee has been hosted at Pound, featured some of the world's best players, some absolutely massive upsets, and also some of the hottest doubles action we've seen in some time. Let's take you through everything you need to know from Pound 2022. Pound 22 was the second in-person major this year to feature all three of the S+ tier players from the recent MPGR contenders rankings. Zain, iBDW, and Mango, the top three seeds for the tournament, each had a vastly different weekend from one another. While Zain triumphed over the entire bracket, taking home back-to-back major wins between Pound and Genesis, Mango and iBDW seemed to have a difficult time facing the current field. Zain looked unstoppable for the entire event, finishing winners finals and grand finals with a convincing 3-1 and 3-0 wins over Hungrybox. Zain absolutely massacred everyone in his path, dropping only 3 games over 9 sets the entire tournament. Perhaps most notably, Zain overcame Lep and Sheik 3-1 after having lost to him in a 1-5 exhibition match just a few months prior. The MDVA Red Marth managed to finally secure an in-region major victory, and with Genesis and Pound under his belt, 2022 is beginning to feel like the inception of Zain's reign as the greatest player in the world. Mango had the toughest run of them all, finishing 13th with losses to Fiction and Lod. After taking some time to himself, Mango tweeted that losing so badly this tournament made him feel next to no remorse. And perhaps a mini hiatus is on the horizon for the current #1 Melee player to help get his mentality back to where it needs to be to compete at the highest level. iBDW was unable to earn another shot at Zain as he hoped. Instead, he fell to Kadoran and Amsa for a 9th place finish, the first time he hasn't made a top 8 bracket in over 2 years. iBDW made it known that he is not in the same mental position as Mango, and sent a warning out to anyone in his path at future events. He is out for blood. Everyone's favorite Red Yoshi had a powerhouse performance at Pound, finishing 3rd for his best placement at a US major in his career. For years prior, Amsa had a history of finished in 4th and especially 5th place, taking the #5 spot at such majors as Genesis 8, Smash World Tour Championship, and Smash Summit 12, having his run ended by the likes of iBDW, Nun, Triff, Plup, and Zain, among others. Although he managed to snag a 4th place finish at Mainstage 2019, Amsa was still denied that elusive 3rd place by Hungrybox, the very same player that ended his iconic run at 3rd during Pound. Amsa made quick work of his opponents in pools, taking W after W until he faced Polish in bracket. After his loss to the Pittsburgh Peach, Amsa went on a monster losers run, taking out the likes of Bobby Big Balls, Fiction, iBDW, and earning a huge win over his bracket demon Lod before falling to Hungrybox in losers finals. For years, Amsa has struggled in the Peach matchup, falling to the likes of Polish, Triff, and Lod at every tournament he's attended. Pound 22 was more of the same in winners bracket. However, after a lengthy losers run and no doubt some time in the lab, Amsa overcame Lod, who double eliminated him at SmashCon 2019, and finally showed some adaptations in the Peach matchup that are sure to carry over at his next outing. One thing is for sure, any Peach player standing in Amsa's way is sure to have a tough time dealing with his new uses of neutral B, his up air chains, and his quick down smashes at ledge to send Peach at some of the ugliest angles you'll ever see. Hilariously, Amsa seemingly began every single set with a neutral B attack, landing many of them on his opponents, forcing them to begin their battle inside of an egg. Amsa's play around putting his opponent in the egg was even more impressive, as he spent this time positioning and waiting to punish the mashout with either an aerial move or an egg toss. If Pound is any indicator, Amsa will be looking to climb higher and higher with each performance 2022 offers him, and it would be no surprise if Japan's premier Yoshi player takes a major victory on US soil anytime this year. He's back to strike fear into the hearts of every player and spectator in the scene. Hungrybox put on an absolute clinic with his puff last weekend at Pound, trouncing everyone who got in his way but the tournament victor Zain. While the online era was a difficult one for HBox, with many writing him off as a has-been threat at the highest level, he showed up at full strength at Pound 22 to silence the haters with a quick flick of the wrist and countless rest reads. Most notable at this tournament was his decisive 3-0 win over Fiction, who also had an incredible run finishing in 7th, and his insane rest-heavy gameplay against Amsa. This set was one for the history books, as HBox threw out rest attempt after rest attempt against the red Yoshi, punishing even the slightest spacing error with Jigglypuff's down B out of shield. Even when he missed, he was rarely sentenced to death for it, exploiting Yoshi's lack of a solid rest punish and using the mental damage to push Amsa more and more with each passing moment throughout their 4 games against each other. In Winners Finals and Grand Finals, however, the Team Liquid partner failed to get anything substantial going against the tournament's champion, as Zain showed that he is still the best Marth against Puff in the world. However, with more and more tournaments popping up in the coming 2022 season, there's no doubt that HBox will be taking names and titles this year. Zain will need to stay on top of the Puff matchup, for as long as HBox is in the bracket, he will always have a Titan standing in his way to triumph. The Verdugo champion himself, Fiction, had a major run at Pound 2022, showcasing a style not usually seen by the SoCal Falco. While many sets saw him using his meditative, laser-heavy style, Fiction leaned into the bird in a big way last weekend by utilizing some off-the-wall combos and reads, especially against Australia's #1 player Sora and powerhouse legacy hitter Mango. The Mango set was an impressive mixture of reaction play mixed with hard reads to win neutral, resulting in a monumental win over the world's best Falco. Unfortunately, Fiction had to face Bracket Demon and known Falco Slayer Hungrybox to make it into winner's side of top 8, and although he was able to push the Florida Jigglypuff main in each game, he ended up falling to losers from a quick 0-3 set. In losers bracket, however, Fiction was presented with a matchup he is known to excel in against Canada's premier Falcon player, None. The set Fiction and None played was nothing short of high-octane, in-your-face melee, and Fiction came out ahead 3-2 to make it into loser side top 8. Fiction's run would be stopped by the hot red Yoshi Amsa at 7th place. Fiction is no stranger to top 8 finishes, with his 4th place at the Big House 9 and 5th place at Genesis 7 standing as his best major performances. But what makes Fiction's Pound run special is that he has only been playing Falco for just over a year, a switch made after a lifetime of playing Fox. This run was a hallmark performance signifying where Fiction is heading in the coming year, and he may very well be on his way to claiming the title of best Falco player in the world. There is no limit to how far the bird will fly for this SoCal native, and you can catch him placing in the top 3 regularly at the Verdugo Weekly Series every Monday. Pound 22 featured one of the best doubles tournaments in recent history, ending with a strong win for first-time team Polish and Pipsqueak. The duo featured solid teams fundamentals and synergy despite having not gone on this journey together before. Showcasing one of the most iconic Fox Peach teams in years, Pipsqueak and Polish finished Grand Finals 3-1 over Joji, formerly Milkman, and Maples, formerly Kevin Maples, who made a dream run after deciding to team together that very day. The Double Fox team shocked spectators and opponents alike with their chemistry and doubles combos, with Joji oftentimes picking up on extension hits after Maples found an opening. The team took out crowd favorites Bobby Big Balls and Aklo, who placed 3rd, as well as the powerhouse partners iBDW and Fiction, placing 4th. Bobby Big Balls and Aklo surprised and awed the crowd with their chaotic energy and seemingly illusory teams combos, oftentimes opting to fight 2 1v1s before collapsing in on their opponents with brute pressure, and BBB making some hype, albeit questionable, decisions that somehow worked out more often than not. iBDW and Fiction utilized their cunning game knowledge and singles experience to roll over their opponents, making a solid case for one of the best teams in the current era. Although with iBDW's lack of enthusiasm for the doubles format, it's hard to say how long their stock will rise in future doubles tournaments. With a number of upcoming events in the coming months, Pound's doubles bracket proved that the team's meta is continuing to evolve, with new duos shining bright and a wide open future for all teams enthusiasts. The melee action doesn't stop here, as Low Tide City concludes the busiest month of offline melee we've seen in the post-lockdown era. Subscribe to PGstats to keep up with all the action from LTC and beyond.